all, so we are going to get started today. We are going to do the Semester 1 study guide for regular math, 6th grade. So let's go ahead and get started. Pause this video at any time that you need to slow things down or write things down. So question 1 says 9 2/10 plus 6 8/10. So when we are adding decimals, we just want to line up our decimals. We are subtracting decimals. We also just want to line up our decimals. Okay, so we have 9 2/10 plus 6 8/10. Okay, we want to bring our decimal point straight down. You can go ahead and do that from the beginning. 2 plus 8 is 10. We carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. Plus 6 is 16. So our answer is 16 0/10. And that will be answer choice D. Once you bring the decimal point straight down, you're just adding like normal. Okay, number 2, it says Joanna had a board that was 54 inches long. She cut off 22 5/10 inches for a project. How many inches of the board remain? All we're doing here is subtracting. So we have 54 minus 22.5, or 22 5/10. When you are subtracting with decimals, again, you want to make sure you line up your decimals. As you can see from the number 54, we don't have a decimal. So when we don't have a decimal, we need to assume that the decimal is at the back of the number. And then we need to line up our decimals. Notice we do not have a number above 5. So if we don't have a number there, we need to annex a 0 and put a 0 there. We will bring our decimal point straight down when we are subtracting. We cannot take 5 from 0, so we will have to borrow. This 4 will become a 3. The 0 will become a 10. 10 minus 5 gives us 5. 3 minus 2 is 1. And 5 minus 2 is 3. So our answer is 31 5/10. Which is answer choice B. Number 3 says 10 8/10 divided by 0 and 9/100. Okay, so we're going to put the first number in the house, so that is 10 8/10 divided by 0 and 9/100. Okay, we want to make sure that this decimal point is next to the house. So we need to move it once, twice to get it next to the house. If we moved this decimal twice, then we also need to move this one twice, once and twice. In the empty bucket, I'm going to put a 0. So really what we're looking at now is 9 into 1080. Okay, 9 cannot go into 1, but it can go into 10 one time. 1 times 9 is 9. Subtract and we get 1. Bring down our 8. 9 goes into 18 2 times. 2 times 9 is 18. Subtract and we get 0. Okay, so most students just stop here, but the problem is we have another number that we have to bring down. So you cannot stop here. If you got the answer 12, you did not go far enough. You need to bring down this last 0, and you need to divide one more time. Can 9 go into 0? No, it goes into 0 0 times. So 0 times 9 is 0. Subtract and we get 0. When you do not have another number to bring down, you know that you are finished. So we are done. Our answer is 120. So our answer choice is A. Okay, number 4 is 3 1/2 times 1 1/2. Okay, so when we are multiplying with fractions, we need to change them into improper fractions first. The way we do that is I use the backward C method. So 3 times 2 gives us 6, and then plus 1 is 7. That's our new numerator. The denominator does not change. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Our denominator does not change. And then we are just multiplying straight across. Okay, so then 7 times 3 gives us 21, and 2 times 2 gives us 4. And now we are just dividing. We cannot leave 21 over 4 because it is an improper fraction. So to change it back into a mixed number, we need to just divide. This is a division problem. 21 divided by 4. So 21 will go in the house, divided by 4. 4 goes into 21. Well, 4 cannot go into 2, but it goes into 21 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. subtract, and we get 1. We have nothing left to bring down, so we know we're finished. Bring up your remainder, and your divisor follows. So our answer is 5 1/4. Okay, number 5 says Jason has 3/4 ton of stone to spread equally in 3 yards. How many tons of stones will be spread in each square yard? Okay, what we're doing here is we are dividing. 3/4 divided amongst the 3 stones. So 3/4 divided by 3. The way we divide fractions is first we have to put all numbers in fraction form. So the 3/4 is already in fraction form. The 3, whole number 3, needs to go over 1. Okay? And now we do KCF. We keep our first fraction, we change the sign to multiply, and we flip our second fraction. So 3/4 we keep, change the sign to multiply, and flip our second fraction. And now we just multiply straight across. 3 times 1 gives me 3, and 4 times 3 gives me 12. We need to reduce here by dividing the top and bottom numbers by the same number. So 3 divided by 3 gives us 1, and 12 divided by 3 gives us 4. So our answer is 1/4. Okay. Okay, number 6. Those 2 lines on the outside of that number just mean the absolute value. Like this, it means the absolute value. Remember, the absolute value is just how far a number is from 0. So you can just count how far this number is from 0, and that's your absolute value. So 54 is 54 jumps from 0, so our answer is 54. Absolute value will always be positive. Your answer for absolute value will always be positive. Because when we're counting jumps from 0, when we count things, it's always a positive number. We always start counting things with a positive number. Okay, number 7. Oh, wait, so that's B. Number 7 says, order the rational numbers least to greatest. So I'm going to rewrite these numbers. We've got -7/10, 7/10, -1 3/800, -5/10, and 15/100. Okay, so we want to put them in order from least to greatest, so we want the smallest first. That means the number that is furthest down from 0, and that's going to be that -1 3/800. The next one that comes up from that, the next furthest down from 0, is -7/10. Then we have the next furthest down from 0 is -5/10. And then that's all of our negative numbers. So now we go into our positives. Well, we have 0 and 15/100, and we have 7/10. The way we can figure out this, because it looks like 7 is smaller than 15, but really we need to take them out to the same place value. This goes out to the hundredths place, so we need to take this one out to the hundredths place. We don't have a number in the hundredths place, so we'll just put a 0. So now we have 0.70 and 0.15. Now it's easier to see that the 15/100 is actually smaller than the 7/10 or 70/100. Okay, so that is our order: -1 3/800, -7/10, -5/10, 15/100, and then 7/10. And that answer choice is going to be B. Okay, number 8 says, if a line segment connecting 3,1 and 6,1 forms one side of a square, what might the coordinates of the other corners of the square be? So 3, 1, I'm going to come over to 3 and up to 1 and put a dot. Over to 6, up to 1 and put a dot. Now, squares all have the same sides. So that is the definition of a square. Well, not the complete definition of a square, but a square does have all equal sides. So if they have all equal sides, that means this side is 3 squares. 1, 2, 3. That means this side needs to have 3 squares. 1, 2, 3. And this side needs to have 3 squares. 1, 2, 3. And this side needs to have 3 squares. 1, 2, and 3. So this works out. This is our square. Okay, I'm going to erase the lines that are on the outside. Okay, so we are looking for this point and this point. Okay, this point is positive 3, positive 4, and this point is positive 6, positive 4. Okay, that is answer choice D. Now, another way you could have figured out this answer is you could have plotted all of these points, and seen if it was, if it made a square. So 1, 3, you go over 1, up 3. If we put a point here, we would already know that that did not make a square. So that's what I mean by plotting those points and just seeing if it worked out or not. But you could also draw the square in yourself because you know that each side of a square has to be equal. And then find the coordinates for the 2 points that you ended up having to make for your square. Okay, for number 9, it says find the perimeter. The challenging part about this one, perimeter means we just add all of the sides together. But the challenging part about this one is it's a little bit difficult to see on this graph, but each of these are halves. So we are counting by halves here. So this is 1 half, 1, 2 halves, 2, 3 halves, 3. Okay, so because it is counting by halves, it's going to, if you counted all of the squares for this whole thing, you would need to divide it by 2 because we are counting by halves. So we would take half of that. There's 2 different ways to get this answer, and I'll show you both. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Okay, so that would be the perimeter if all of the sides were 1 unit. Okay, but they're not, they're halves. So you could take that answer and divide it by 2, and that would give you half of the amount around the sides because we are counting by halves. So 32 divided by 2 gives us 16, so our answer is D. Another way you could have solved this is counting by halves. So if we were counting by halves, then each square is 1 half. So every 2 squares would give you 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Either way, you're going to get the same answer. Your answer should be 16. Okay, number 10 says 6x plus 14, and it says for x, it equals 1 half. So 6x plus 14 and we know that x is equal to 1 half. So instead of x, I'm going to put 1 half. So 6 times 1 half plus 14. There's a couple different, not 4, plus 14. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. If you know what half of 6 is, which we know half of 6 is 3, 3 plus 14 gives us 17. You could do it that way. You could also multiply straight across. So when we have a whole number, we need to give it a denominator of 1. We can multiply that by 1 half. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. and then 6 divided by 2 gives us 3, and then add it to the 14 and still get 17. So a couple different ways you can do this, but either way we need to make sure that we do the multiplication part first and then add or subtract whatever number is behind that. So multiplication first and then addition or subtraction. Okay, so our answer here is 17, which is C. Write an equivalent expression for 1 plus 5 times C plus 4. So here we are using the distributive property to first distribute the 5 to the C and the 5 to the 4. 5 times C gives me 5C, and 5 times 4 gives me 20. Bring down your addition sign, bring down this addition sign, and the number up front. Now we are just combining like terms. We cannot add numbers with variables like the 5C to numbers without variables like the 20. You cannot put them fully together because they are different terms. These are all different terms actually, but variables and numbers without variables cannot be fully added or subtracted together. They could be multiplied but not added or subtracted. So, but we can add the 1 and the 20 because those are both numbers without variables. So we're going to put the 1 and the 20 together. 20 plus 1 is 21. And then we still have that 5C. So that will be our final answer, 21 plus 5C. That is the exact same thing as 5C plus 21. So if that was an answer choice, you could put that as well. They equal the same thing. It doesn't matter if you say 5C plus 21 or 21 plus 5C. Okay, but here they gave us A, which is 21 plus 5C. Okay, number 12 says evaluate 3 8/10 to the third power. So remember, when we are taking any number to the third power, we are just multiplying it by itself 3 times. So 3.8 times 3.8 times 3.8. So we need to do 3.8 times 3.8 first to get that answer, and then multiply that times 3.8 again. 8 times 8 gives me 64, carry the 6. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 6 is 30. 0 down to hold my place. We'll erase the 6. Okay. 3 times 8 gives me 24, carry the 2. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. Add these together. 4 plus 0 is 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. 3 plus 1 is 4, and then you have your 1. You have 2 decimal places here, which means just 2 numbers behind your decimal, 1 and 2. So we need to start at the back and move our decimal over 1 and 2 times. So now we have 14 and 44 hundredths times 3.8. 8 times 4 gives me 32, carry the 3. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 3 is 35, carry the 3. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 5 is 35. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 3 is 35. Carry the 3. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11. 0 down to hold my place. I'm going to erase my numbers that I put up top. Okay. 3 times 4 is 12. Put your 2 down, carry your 1. 3 times 4 again is 12, plus 1 is 13. 3 down, carry your 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 3 down, carry your 1. And 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Now we are going to add those together. 2 plus 0 is 2. 5 plus 2 is 7. 5 plus 3 is 8. 1 plus 3 is 4. And 1 plus 4 is 5. And we have 3 decimal places here because we have 3 numbers behind our decimals. So we start at the back and we move it over 1, 2, and 3 times. So our answer is 54 and 872 thousandths. Okay. Oops. Okay, so our answer for number 12 is C. Okay, for number 13, it says find the value. Here we need to just do the order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally And make sure that multiplication and division are going from left to right. And addition and subtraction, those are equal, and they also go from left to right. So whichever one you come to first, multiplication or division, that's what you do first. Addition or subtraction, that's what you do first. But you have to start with the parentheses, then go to exponents, then your multiplication and division, and then your addition and subtraction. Okay, that's the order that you have to do it. It's called order of operations. So 5 times 10 divided by 5 minus 3. So again, the first thing we do is parentheses. So I'm going to underline it. 5 minus 3 gives me 2. I'm going to replace the parentheses with 2, and I'm going to bring down everything else in front of it. Next, it's multiplication and division left to right. So if the division had come first, I would do that first. But because the multiplication is first, I'm doing that first. Okay, so I'm going to underline it. 5 times 10 gives me 50, and I'm going to rewrite everything else. And so this is my last one that I need to do, 50 divided by 2. And 50 divided by 2 is 25. You can think about this like quarters. There are 2 quarters that equal 50 cents. Or if you have to put it in the house and divide, you can. 2 goes into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtracting, we get 1. Bring down our 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtracting, we get 0. So either way, you should get 25 as your answer, which is B. Okay, it says simplify 9y plus 4 minus 6y. 9y, is it minus 4? No, plus 4. Okay, remember there are 3 separate terms here. I'm going to circle the terms. 9y, positive 4, minus 6y. Okay, so we are combining like terms. That means we are putting together the things that go together. So if they both end with a y, okay, we are putting them together. They are the same thing. So we have 9y minus 6y. So if we have 9y minus, not 3y, 9y minus 6y. 9y minus 6y is 3y. And then we have the positive 4 over here. We didn't do anything to it. We didn't have another number to add to 4. So our answer is just 3y plus 4. We do have to bring that 4 down, though. Don't just take it off. It is part of our expression, so we need to have it there. So our final answer is 3y plus 4. B. Okay, number 15 says 222 equals W plus 22. So 222 equals W plus 22. Draw your line down from your equal sign. Our variable right here is W. W is being added to 22, so to solve that, we have to work backwards. We have to do the opposite. So if it says W plus 22, we need to solve it by doing the opposite, which is subtracting 22 from both sides. 22 minus 22 is 0, and 0 plus W is W. And then 222 minus 22, 2 minus 2 is 0, 2 minus 2 is 0, and 2 minus nothing is 2. So 200. Okay? Which is D. Okay, number 16, R divided by 12 equals 8, and we want to know what R is equal to. So R divided by 12 equals 8. Again, we're going to draw our line down from our equal sign. Our variable is R. Right now, R is being divided by 12, so to solve, we want to do the opposite of that. The opposite of dividing by 12 is multiplying by 12. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 12. When we do that, this cancels because 12 times R would be 12R, and 1 times 12 is 12, and 12 divided by 12 here is 1, and 1 times R would be R. So if you just want to show that you're canceling the 12s out and you're bringing down your R, that's fine. And then we have 8 times 12, which gives us 96. So our answer is R is equal to 96, which is A. Oops. Okay, number 17 says write an inequality for the graph. So you're just looking at this. An open dot means it's not including that number, so it's just greater than or less than. If it was a closed dot, that's an open dot. If it was a closed dot, If it is a closed dot, then that is going to mean greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. So this is an open dot, so we can go ahead and get rid of B and C because we know it's not less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. And these numbers are being shaded to the right, which means they're getting bigger. 2, 3, 4, 5, those are all bigger than 1. So our problem needs to be x is greater than 1 because 1 is the number that's circled, but it's not colored in. So we are not including 1, but then the numbers that are being shaded are shading in the direction of all the numbers that are greater than 1. So x is greater than 1 is our answer, and that is D. Okay. Number 18 says solve the inequality. 4x is greater than or equal to 12. Draw the line down from your inequality sign. Our variable is x. Right now, x is being multiplied by 4. To solve this, you have to do the opposite. Divide both sides by 4. So this is going to cancel because 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 1 times x is x. Bring down your inequality sign, which is greater than or equal to, and 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. So our answer is x is greater than or equal to 3, which is A. And that's it. Okay, that's all you guys have to do for today. Make sure to study this. Your test is next week. So make sure that you are good to go. It is on Wednesday, the 13th. Okay, I hope you guys have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.